Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of my poker vlog. It is Tuesday and I got off work a little bit early today, so decided that it's going to be poker night and made the drive down to Ace Card House in South Austin, Texas. The building may not look like much, but this is actually where the first legal card house in Texas was opened up. It's since closed and reopened under the new name Ace Card House, but some pretty good games, so we're going to be hopping in there. It is a Tuesday, so 1-2 is probably going to be the only game running, but it's a 400 max, so it plays a little deeper, and generally once it gets late at night, things can get pretty crazy, so we'll have to see how it goes. Like I explained a little bit in the first video, it is rake-free poker, and you have to pay like a small membership fee, and then after that it's $8 an hour for the seat. So I'm ready to get in there. I'm going to record the whole session, and if there's any interesting hands to go over, I will be reporting back. So let's go. Alright, so in this first hand we're only playing six-handed because there was a couple people away from the table. And it's pretty early in the night, so the game's been playing pretty small, pretty tight so far. We look down at 10-9 of diamonds in the small blind, and there's two limps ahead of me. I go ahead and raise it up to $12, and the big blind and both limpers call, so we go four ways to a flop, which comes down Queen 8-5 with two diamonds. So pretty good flop for our hand. We flop the flush draw plus gutter, so I go ahead and continuation bet about half pot, $25, and we get one caller. So we go heads up to the turn, which pairs the board. It's another 5, and seeing as I have 10 high, I definitely want to continue telling the story and fire a second bet. In this spot, a lot of the value hands in my range I think are going to want to size up because this board is very wet, and I'm going to want to defend against all the drawing type hands. So with my draws, like the hand I have, I also think it makes sense to size up for balance and also to maximize my fold equity. So I go ahead and bet 75 into about 100, and he thinks for a second, and then he folds, and he actually shows a queen. So really good result for us there, and that just kind of shows how tight this game is playing so far. So a little time has passed, and we're now playing eight-handed. The game's starting to loosen up just a little bit, and I look down at ace-king under the gun, so I go ahead and open for $15. It folds around to the hijack, who puts in a very small 3-bet of $40, and then the cutoff directly to his left go ahead and shoves for 91. And the cutoff is very much an action player. I've played with him many times, and he had just gotten short stacked from a hand or two before, so he's going to be shoving a lot of hands here, and we're definitely ahead of his range with ace-king. We really only have to worry about the hijack, but again, ace-king is just too strong, and we have an ace and king in our hands, so we block aces and kings, makes it much less likely to be up against those hands. So I think we're definitely not going to be folding. I also don't really like calling, because if we call, we're going to be out of position post-flop, and we also open the door for him to, raise over us with his hands like pocket tens, and it kind of puts us in a tough spot. So I think a 4-bet is definitely in order. The question is just how much. He's kind of covering his stack with his hands, so I ask if I can see his stack, and it looks like he has about $300 behind, so it doesn't leave too much room. I think it's a pretty straightforward shove, so I go ahead and say I'm all in and throw a chip in, and he kind of rolls his eyes and folds pocket jacks face up. So pretty nice that we got to squeeze him out of the hand and keep the $40 of dead money in the pot. So at this point, the cutoff, he goes ahead and flips over his hand, and he has ace-queen. So normally when everybody's having fun and action players, they shove and they want to flip their hands over and kind of sweat it like you would a all-in tournament situation. Even though I don't have to show my hand, I generally do, just to keep everything friendly. And so I flip over my hand, and the dealer runs it out, and unfortunately the board runs out queen high, so he's going to go ahead and scoop this one. At this point in the night, my phone died, which was actually what I was using to record all the hands, but I played for a couple hours longer and a couple big hands went down that I wanted to cover, so we're going to try a little bit different approach here. But anyway, so in this first hand, I look down at 2 black aces under the gun and go ahead and open, and we actually get 7 callers, so seeing a flop 8 ways is definitely not what you want with pocket aces, but here we go anyways, and it comes down 10-4-4 with 2 hearts. If we were heads up, this would be a pretty good flop, but 8 ways in this game, somebody could easily have a 4 here. Small blind checks and the big blind bets $30. I call, and then the guy to my left jams all in, but he only has $48. It folds around, and the big blind and I both call the extra 18. So to the turn, heads up on the side, and it is a pretty perfect card for us. It's a 3rd 4, so we now have a full house, and we are only beat by quads or pocket 10s, and he checks it over to me. So I think if he ever has an overpair in this spot, the money's probably going to go in no matter what. But we really want to target getting max value from a 10, and there's $240 in the pot, which is about the same that's in his stack. So I think a pot size shove would be a little strong looking, and he might actually get away. So I think the play here is to go for about a 1/3 on the turn and then try to get the rest on the river. So I bet $85, and he gets a look on his face like he's not happy about it, but he throws in the call. And the turn is the river is a 7, and he checks it over to me, and I shove all in for the rest, and he instantly folds and says, "You're good, I missed my flush draw." So I don't know if he was messing with me or had too many drinks and didn't realize that even if he hit his flush, it wasn't going to be good, but glad we got the extra 85 out of him, and I show my aces for the main pot, and they're good. There was one more big hand that we got into before calling it a night. In this hand, I open pocket 9s from middle position. We get 3 callers, and the small blind puts in a very small 3-bet to $30. The big blind cold calls, and me and nobody else is going to be folding for this price, so we go 6 ways to the flop, which comes down 8-7 deuce with the 8 and 7 of diamonds. And he continuation bets $60, which is about a 1/3 pot, so he's going to be doing this with his whole range, both his big pairs and his air like ace king, ace queen. So I don't want to fold my 9s just yet, but I also don't want to raise because I'm very deep with some of the other players behind me, and I don't want to get re-raised in an awkward situation. So I make the call, and the player directly to my left, he thinks for about 4 or 5 minutes well into the tank, and then he makes the call. So we're 3 ways to the turn, and it's another 2, and the small blind slows down and checks it over to me. So now I'm pretty sure he's on like an ace king, ace queen type hand, and he's just giving up. And since the guy to my left tanked for so long and he never once was counting chips or acting like he was thinking about raising, he's probably on an 8 or some kind of draw. So they're both have under $150 left, and there's $360 in the pot. So I just go ahead and put it all in, and the guy to my left folds, and then the big blind makes the call. The river's a king, and he looks at me waiting for me to flip over my hand. So I flip over my 9s, and then he flips over king queen offsuit. So we got it in really good there, but unfortunately couldn't hold. After that, it was getting pretty late, about 1 a.m., and I have to work the next day, so I cashed out. We were into the game for $400, out of the game for $572, and then I had to pay my seat rental fee, which came out to $53 on the night, so that's about a profit of $120. It's unfortunate a couple of those big hands we were favorites in could have gone our way and made it a big win, but a small win's still better than a loss, so I'll take it. And that wraps it up for this week. So thanks for watching. Comments are definitely appreciated. Let me know if you think I could have played any of the hands better, or also let me know, which method of hand breakdown you prefer, whether it's me with the camera at the table or the hand simulator. And stay tuned for the next couple weeks. I got some plans coming up that I think are going to be pretty cool, which may or may not include an Andrew Neeme meetup game in Austin. So I'll see you then.